Well, we're here at the Church Farm Museum today, and it's the Knights of Skirbeck.
Yeah,
Skirbeck. So, if you're there, get yourself down here, have a look. And it's at the Church Farm Museum. There we go. Going to put you in the stocks, look.
you can know about some tools over there.
Right, hang on.
It can even be used as an axe. Now, I don't know if you've seen any of our weapons, but you'll probably have noticed, Your Majesty, you'll have probably noticed that they are blunted, and they're blunt because they are tournament swords. Tournament swords have been blunt since the 13th century, the reign of King Edward I. His idea, so less men got killed in tournaments. Health and safety gone mad, I tell you. God dear. I mean, what's wrong with tourneying with a sharp sword, eh? I mean, crikey, how sharp is a sharp sword? God dearie me. Well, yeah, all right. A sharp sword is fairly sharp, to be fair. And yet, some idiot standing here holding it by the blade. Don't try this at home, kids, for goodness sake. I've cut my hand twice doing this over the years. Oh, you showed us? Yeah. we didn't say that, So, yes. So, one thing I won't do is draw my hand down the blade. Blood everywhere if I do that. Well, actually, I cut myself weirdly. I was just doing this, and I must have slid or something, because it made a bit of a mess. So that's the arming sword. Thank you, sir. Here's another very popular style of single-handed sword in England. It's called a falchion. Falchions are a lot cheaper than arming swords. They're partly because they're a single-edged blade, and because the single edge is curved, or slightly curved, because when the steel is treated, it naturally curves. You see this one's blunt, completely blunt. When you're treating it, it curves a bit, so they just let it. And that makes it safe, doesn't it? It's blunt, so it's safe. How safe is it? Oh, sorry, wrong one.
Oh, man, look at you.
Oh! Maybe you're right, it's that way, doesn't it? Oh, I know. Let's try that way. Tell you what. Yep. When I nod my head, you hit it.
Don't miss.
That's how safe a sharp sword is.
Blunt sword.
A blunt sword even, sorry, yes, of course, they're completely blunt, actually.
Anyone for coleslaw?
Yeah. Yeah, coleslaw. Yeah. That is a blunt sword. That's a tournament sword. Completely safe. Of course they are. So, moving along. Does the date, August 22nd, 1485, ring any bells?
My birthday.
You know the date. What happened 1485 to August 22nd? Battle of Bosworth. Yes. Yes. Well, the Battle of Bosworth was highly significant in more ways than one. Close your ears a minute. What happened at the Battle of Bosworth? Bosworth was the last time a King of England was killed in battle. And this ushered in the reign of the House of Tudor, which was basically the beginning of the end of the medieval period. We went from being medieval to being Tudor and then Stuart and then, I don't know, Elizabethan or something. I'm rubbish.
We were dead by then, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly, I'm rubbish at history. But yeah, we went from medieval to Tudor period, and that was ushered in at the Battle of Bosworth. So, whatever you think about King Richard III, the guy who was king at Bosworth, he was in fact very, very brave and capable knight. He was one of the best fighters around in his time. He was a brilliant horseman and a brilliant swordsman. His Grace, King Richard III. He's
You may bow.
the king wasn't quite this
My lady,
tall.
and you, sir.
In reality, yeah, the king had scoliosis, but when he was in armour, he looked just like anybody else because armour helped him stand upright. If he could have straightened his back properly, completely, he would have stood about 5'9". As it was, I think he was about 5'7", something like that, 5'6", something like that. So only just below average for the time. If he could have stood upright, he would have been slightly above average for the time. So here he is, on Bosworth Field, he's wearing full shiny armour. He's fighting away, the battle's going, it's going all right. I mean, it could go either way. I've forgotten his name. The fence. Stanley, thank you. Lord Stanley, over there, has been sitting on the fence. He's supposed to be on our side. But he's decided he's going to plough in on Henry Tudor's side. So he ploughs in and starts attacking our lot. The king thinks, hang on, I can sort this. Because just over there, you can see Henry Tudor's personal banner. And Henry Tudor's only has a handful of bodyguards with him. If Richard can reach Henry Tudor's is going home in a linen winding sheet because he is a much better fighter than Tudor's. So the king jumps on an horse and he charges towards Henry Tudor's banner. Only trouble is he not charging today? You've lost your coconut shells, haven't you?
No!
Sprung that on me yesterday and I thought, I can hear awful.
Hooray!
So he's charging towards Henry Tudor's banner. Only trouble was, it had been raining.
Expense spared.
It had been raining all the previous day and all that day. And the ground was boggy. It was horrible. I mean, we were there, when we were there about 3 or 4 years ago, we were trying to charge on foot, weren't we? I'll be there in a minute. Squelch. Hang on. Squelch. Don't go away now. I mean, 5 stone of armour and 6 inches of mud, it ain't much fun. I'll be there in a minute. And that's what it was like in 1485. So here he is, this King Richard charging through the mud until he reaches the worst of it. And then his horse slows right down. Now, according to some of Henry Tudor's men, one of them got one of these things, which is a bill hook. Hook there, spike there. And according to him, he grabbed the king's armour like this, and he dragged him off his horse. Liar! He did no such thing. No chance. What actually happened was, we know because we were there, the king's horse gets stuck in the mud, so the king dismounts. The rest of his men are still on their horses going, Your Grace, no, don't do that. And he's going, today I shall live or die King of England. And he charges on his own towards Henry Tudor's banner, on foot. Unfortunately, one of Henry Tudor's really brave men has a poleaxe like this, and he comes behind him. And he wallops him seriously hard at the back of the head. This causes the king concussion. He falls to his knees. He lifts his visor because he can't see. He's confused. His vision's all over the place. He don't know what day it is.
First afternoon,
Another one of Henry Tudor's really brave men gets a long spear like this, and he jabs the king in the face with it. But he don't stop there. He keeps pushing until he reaches the inside back of the king's skull. Now, it goes all the way through. The whole blade goes into the king's face. The king is now not only concussed, he is unconscious and paralysed because it looks like he must have hit a nerve as he went through the back. Now, I didn't understand this until I thought it through and watched it and over again. It occurred why this happened. Because the next thing, another one of his really brave men comes from behind with a dagger, and I thought, why does he do this? The king's wearing a crown. He's got a crown riveted to his helmet. This idiot reckons he's going to have the crown. What's he going to do with it? Anybody want to buy the king's crown? Oh, what a muppet. Anyway, this muppet comes from behind, cuts through the chin strap of the king's helmet, drags his helmet off with the crown attached, and runs away with it. Pillock. So there's the king, now got no helmet on, still unconscious, still paralysed, and another one of Henry Tudor's really super brave men comes from behind with a big sword like this, and he brings it up like this, and he hits the king at the back of the head, and he takes a bit of the king's skull like this, straight out. Bits of the king's brain are over in the mud on Bosworth Field. Horrible! Oh dear. Well, there we have it. Disgrace King Richard III. King is dead. God save the king!
God save the king!
I think we need to try it again. God save the king!
God save the king!
Ah, that's better. I knew you were on our side. So there he is. Is that the end of it? If only. Nope, Henry Tudor's really brave men, they strip his armour off. Yeah, alright, it's worth money. Fair point. They strip all his clothes off, completely.
Don't do
Don't
that.
worry, Mum, we won't do that to you. It's not a pretty sight.
Not a pretty smell either.
And he smells. Well, they strip all his clothes off, probably to prove that it is King Richard because there's curve in his spine. They throw his lifeless body over the back of an horse and parade it around the field to show his men that he's dead and the cause is lost. Henry Tudor's really brave men haven't had enough. They come up and they start poking him and they're jabbing this lifeless corpse. Hey, it does, doesn't it? That was what's known as a prick. It's what we use instead of a fork. So it's very, very sharp. It's for eating. That's a knife and prick set. And so yeah. I like how it wobbles, I like that. That was cool, isn't it? I like that. So anyway, yeah, so they're jabbing at the king's lifeless corpse. Is that the end of the indignity? Of course not. Sorry? No, what do they do then? Bury him in a car park!
What the?
I think the car park wasn't there.
Well, alright, the car park maybe wasn't there, but somebody planted a car park over him and put an R over the top of that. Was that the end of the indignity? If only. In your time, they dug him up again. Went, hey up, it's King Richard III. We better give him a proper burial. Yes, proper burial. Okay, a couple of our friends were at the state funeral for the king. One of them spied one of the cannons. They bury him in Leicester Cathedral. This is better than a flipping car park. But then what do? Put a flaming paving slab over the top of it. Anybody seen the King's tomb? It's not a royal tomb. It's a paving slab where somebody's got an angle grinder and cut a cross into the top of it. It's horrible!
Well, maybe you shouldn't have lost then.
Sorry?
Maybe you shouldn't have lost then. Hey, you can't hurt a man of the cloth.
But Father, you said God was on our side.
Yeah, well, so did the priest on the other side to their side.
That means you're wrong and his priest was right.
God's on everybody's side, my son. In his infinite wisdom.
Would that be an ecclesiastical matter?
It certainly would be. It would be.
That would be an ecclesiastical matter.
That would be an ecumenical matter.
An ecumenical matter, Father.
Yes, it would,
An
yeah.
ecumenical. Oh, even better, Father. Oh, you're right there. Right then, anyway, enough of the Father Ted rubbish. Let's go. Well, that's right, so, yep. So if you ever go to Leicester Cathedral, it's a rubbish tomb. Don't bother. But anyway, that was the end of Bosworth, and that was the last. Richard III was, in fact, the last King of England to die in battle. Let's hope the same doesn't happen to poor old Charles, bless him. Thank you, Your Grace. His Grace, King Richard III. Has anybody got any questions, by the way, on what you've seen, or medieval life in general, or weapons, or anything? Yeah, please do sing out.
Can you do it again? I missed it.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
You'll be here tomorrow, Father.
Excellent, yeah.
You can watch
Oh, I
tomorrow.
won't be here tomorrow. My cousin will be, Sir John.
All right then. Sir,